Welcome back. We want to spend our remaining moments this time getting a reaction to our earlier conversation with Washington Post reporter Jonathan O'Connell. As he is reporting, D.C. is getting ready to begin a full-bore effort to get Dan Snyder to return his team to the district on a new stadium at the site where RFK Stadium now sits. Joining us now, David Alpert. He's editor-in-chief of Greater Washington. Always great to have you with us, David. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Bruce.
Lots of moving parts here, and of course, this is early, as Jonathan stressed during our conversation with him. Lots more conversation, and of course, lots of issues to be resolved. But let's tackle a few of them. In terms of the football, right now, it's hard to get to a FedEx Field without driving. Back in the days when the Burgundy and Gold played at RFK, many people came by subway. So in terms of the issues you focus on and the sort of new urbanist, if I'm using that term correctly, thinking, do you applaud the concept of the Burgundy and Gold being back in town, being at a metro station?
Certainly, having things near a metro station is always nice. But in this particular case, one of the issues is that a football stadium is used very infrequently as compared to almost anything else you use. Football teams play, I think, 8 home games a year. Maybe you can get a couple of concerts. Maybe you get a few other things. But it's very different than, a basketball and hockey arena like we have at the Verizon Center downtown, where day after day after day, fans are coming and going by transit, or a baseball stadium, which gets baseball teams play so many different games, home games, every year. So a football stadium, the other problem with a football stadium is that they're very large, and often they require a lot of parking. The plans that Jonathan started to talk about look at maybe it could be underground, but it might be just in above-ground garages. You end up spending a very large amount of your land on getting people to and from by ways other than metro, especially because people want to tailgate. So that just makes it not really a great use of land near metro, which is very scarce.
When you think about the RFK site, the fact that there's water there's metro, there's good transportation, you think of the sort of what's the highest and best use, not just for this one football team and its fan base, but for us as a region. I mean, it's so ugly now. It's so bad. It's so antiquated. It's horrible. What's the best? What could we be doing if we're thinking about this in a totally open way? Bring all the ideas and let the best move forward. What do we do?
That's right, and there are a number of things that could be done. It's a little disappointing that the study from Events DC isn't really looking at a broader range of possibilities. But a lot of people have talked about having recreational fields, and that's apparently part of their study. But there's a huge need for youth baseball, for, adult soccer, for et cetera, all of these different ways of doing recreation as the city grows. And, there are only a limited number of park spaces, especially fields, for people to use. So that would be great to have somewhere in the area near the water. People also have been saying we need quite a bit of, we have still a housing shortage. There are a lot of people that can't find housing. Housing's expensive. Look into building some housing, maybe some offices, get some economic development as well. Maybe that could be just in the area near the metro, and there could be athletic fields elsewhere. There are a lot of different ways to look at that. Congress would have to be involved one way or the other. People say, well, the rule from Congress is that it has to be used for recreation, so that's all we'll look at. That is what the law says right now, but it also says, as Jonathan reported, that the lease expires before the lifetime of a stadium. So Congress would have to approve or be involved at least in having a new stadium. There's the issue about the name for the team. So one way or the other, it's going to be a federal question. Let's think about what Congress might authorize that's a little bit more creative than just a stadium.
We have about a minute left. I want to ask you about the Verizon Center, which I was surprised is even part of this conversation. The arena downtown has done so much to draw people and other development to the downtown area. The downtown was not always like it is now. It's a pretty exciting area, and I think the Verizon Center had a lot to do with that. Your thoughts quickly on that?
I hope that arena stays where it is. It's a great place transportation-wise because you can access most metro lines right there, and then others are very, very close by as compared to over by the stadium. And as you said, it's been great for downtown. It's great to have all that activity so many evenings. So I hope that remains where it is.
Are you expecting, and to what extent are you advocating for the public's voice in whatever happens going forward?
I very much hope that this isn't a decision that's made by a few people kind of ignoring a lot of residents. There are a lot of people with a lot of ideas, and they really should think about them broadly and listen to people and think creatively before settling on one particular approach.
David Alpert of Greater Washington, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for your input. We'll talk with you again soon.
Thank you, Bruce.
We're back with a program note after this.